Hi there! Welcome to this UcamX version 2024.11 release video. My name is Silvia Lima and I'm with UcamCo Belgium. It is my pleasure to be your guide through the new features of this UcamX release. I will use the release overview provided on our website for it. You can find it on https://info.ucamco.com. If you then go to UcamX and open the UcamX Timeline, you have a link for all the information for the releases since 2020.12, I think. The new version, 2024.11, comes with a host of new features. Let's start with our new attribute viewer. In the existing Attribute Manager, it is possible to generate a view specified to the needed attributes. But a fast overview was always missing. Our new Attribute Viewer is closing this gap. You now can easily view all object and aperture attributes in a layer. This saves time by quickly finding all attributes or efficiently select specific attributes. Select-deselect of attributes is synchronized with the Aperture Manager. Let's have a look. I will use the drill file of this job. With View Attribute Viewer, I open the new feature. The active layer BP is directly shown and I can have a look on all the existing object or aperture attributes. I can select them and they are selected in the data and I have the direct response in the Aperture Manager. I can unselect that or I can reset all if I have more selections. The same is working on the aperture attributes. For example, if I use the customer diameter was 0.5 on which ones they are selected and I have the information here. That's it for this feature and I go to the next one, the new addition to fill pattern. The new addition to the fill pattern feature in PanelPlus is the possibility to achieve a specific panel copper density by filling it with the PCB image or parts of it. It is available in PanelPlus and the filling is automatically calculated. You get an improved copper coverage for assembly or production panel, and the improved copper balancing enhances the edge results. This is easier shown than explained with words, so let's go to UcamX. For this, I will use our test job again and go to Tools, Panel, PanelPlus. And if you go here and say Use PCB Image, you can define the clearance in X and in Y. I take 20 millimeters for that. Say Apply and put it to the calculation. And if I now go to Results, I can directly use, for example, my simple area frame and let it run through. Now you can directly see that the spaces between the PCBs is completely filled up with the same layout or parts of it as much as possible, so you have a very even copper balance. And up we go to the next feature, our show of negative objects. Show negative objects is a fast way to quickly view all negative objects on a layer without selections. This feature is easily accessed via the right mouse button. This layer contains contour apertures and negative apertures, which are specifying the copper-free area. So for example, if I go here and select the contours, I see that the contour specifies the clearance to the trace. In other cases, it is, for example, a negative trace below the normal trace, which is specifying the clearance. To make it much easier to handle that, we have a new functionality. If you go with the right mouse button on the H button, you can say Show Negative. And if you click it, you directly get all negative objects highlighted. The color is defined by you in the color.db. The next one is our snap on selections. Our new snap mode is called Snap on Selections. It is a snap on the center of the enclosing box of selected objects. You can move or transform groups of objects with one action. There is even a short key, SS, for ultra-fast access. We have a picture here, but I think it is easier to see if I show it in UcamX. I have a small job prepared for that, so if I activate the top and the bottom layer here, select everything on them, and then use either manually the two selections, or I use the shortcut key SS, and it switches to that, you see directly a small cross appearing in the center of the selected objects on both layers. So if I now go to transform and want to move it completely, I can take that and say, I would like to have a snap to point on the rectangle, and it is directly placing everything in one action. That's it for this feature. And another requirement sent to us by our users is the extended check for update. The version checker in UcamX help now indicates if there is a newer version for all features available in the license file. You have a direct link to download the available version and therefore a way to always stay up to date with your software. If I now go to Help, check for updates, the license file is visible or you can browse for it, and then you can check what's available and in which status. The pop-up window is giving you directly the information if something new is available. You can see it here by the green color. If something would be red, you can download it directly from here and update your system. Reacting on multiple requests for a smaller unit, we now present our new unit, Micrometers. As our software is used around the world and with different fonts, we simplified the usually used mu to u. So it is, instead of mu meters, u meters. Visible here. So if I have something in millimeters here and switch now to the new micrometers, it is directly calculated, and of course it is back. So if I have a very small number or a big number, we can directly have the calculation. Another new feature is a new setting in our Drill Tool Manager. There is a new setting in Drill Tool Manager's settings.xml to specify a limit to the wire diameter. Here you have the entry which you need, and you put it like this into your settings.xml. And the Drill Tool Manager will only set the smallest plated diameter to a wire if it is below this minimum, provided the entry is specified. If not, Drill Tool Manager will work as before. The smallest diameter found is a wire, even if it is 3 millimeters. Here we have a drill file with 0.8 and 0.9 millimeter holes. If I now go to Drill Tool Manager and say load, it will show me the 0.8 millimeters as a wire and the 0.9 as component. If I now change the diameter, for example, to something bigger, like 0.85, and load again, we see no wires are set for this drill file. So that now brings us to PanelPlus Codes with adaptive negative background. The PanelPlus Codes now come with adaptive negative background. The negative background for codes in PanelPlus adapts to the text length. It automatically ensures the entire text is visible, regardless of the length of the information. This prevents interference with copper or frames or copper balancing. Let's see how this works. If I have a look at one of my standard frames and go to the bottom right side, I have the PanelPlus code %dat and %user. In the background, I have a negative rectangle, which has an attribute which is called uPlaceDimension is %user. I have an additional rectangle below the %dat, and the uPlaceDimension is %dat. If I now use our lovely standard job, and go to PanelPlus, in the results I pick exactly that frame and let it run through. I don't need a report. Then we can see here the user is shortened to my initials, SL, and the dat is free of copper, even if it is longer than the original. If we want to have a look at that, I can add the DPF. So the BS. And if I put it in somewhere and make it a different color, we can see the original was in green %dat, and the copper ended directly after the T. Now the copper is cut away to accommodate the new date code. Same here. There the original is much longer, and now the copper is filled up, so only my initials are free of copper. Our Schmoll MDI output is now able to save all output parameters as job and layer attributes. The attribute names start with Schmoll MDI _. This preserves output information for further usage. As you can see here, let me make that a little bit bigger, the GUI and a list of layer attributes, a list of job attributes, and how that can look in a UcamJob file. here, always Schmoll MDI underscore in the beginning and the value after that. We are already on the last topic, the switch to Java 21. The change is needed to ensure future stability and security. Starting from JDK 18, the default char set is UTF-8. Please check if your hypertools or VHS scripts are still showing the correct characters. There can be issues with non-ASCII fonts, for example, Chinese, Korean, Japanese, and other languages. The solution for hypertool is to set the source code to UTF-8 and check the characters, then recompile with the new JDK. For VHS, please open the VHS file in Notepad or another text editor, copy all content, and paste it into the VHS editor. Save the file as VHS, and it should work fine. If not, or for further support, please contact us on support@ucamco.com. As always, there is more in this version. UcamX version 2024.11 comes with a host of fixes for issues you have cared to report. Please keep on doing so. Your feedback is highly appreciated. Thank you. Nothing new, but very important. We list major open issues as soon as they are detected in the file open_issues_datecode.txt in the version folder on the FTP side. Please monitor this to avoid potential production problems. We recommend to install this update at your earliest convenience. The installer can be downloaded from the UcamCo FTP download server. We recommend to use an FTP client, as most browsers do not support FTP. For questions, please contact our local business partner or the UcamCo help desk. We thank you for choosing UcamX. We are already at the end of the tour. You always can review the video on our YouTube channel or open it with the link in the release overview on https://info.ucamco.com. The only thing left for me to say is thank you very much for your attention. Thanks and bye-bye.